Hey guys, welcome to the Upside of Grief. My name is Story and I am your host.
And my name is Erica and I am your co-host. And today we are going to be doing our very first chapter. We're going to be talking to Story. She's going to share with us a little bit about her journey. And I'm wondering, why are we calling them chapters?
So, as you know, because we like to talk about the verbiage and the words around grief, and, speaking intentionally, an episode of grief.
Kind of sounds derogatory almost.
I don't like it.
We don't like it.
I think it's a podcast, so it's an episode. Everybody calls it that. So also forgive us if every once in a while you hear us say episode, because we're human and we're not perfect. But we're going to call them chapters because that's just what makes sense.
I feel like for me too, I really like analogy and metaphor and speaking intentionally. And when Story brought up calling them chapters, I thought of a book. Like, our grief is a book. There are chapters. It continues. There are sequels. There are, spin-offs. Like, it's not just like a one and done an episode of grief. Mm-hmm. Like, your grief stays with you. And I thought that was really cool. So I love that you did that. I love that you suggested that.
Yeah.
This is your chapter.
This is my chapter.
So
wait, hold on.
Okay.
I just want to say really quick.
Yeah.
That I'm so grateful that you are doing this podcast with me. And I just want to express gratitude to you because I love you. And this is a heavy topic, and it is a choice to dive into this, but there's nobody else that I would rather do it with. So I just want you to know that. And I love you very much.
I love you very much. I am really happy that you asked me, that you shared your idea with me first. And then you're like, and then there's this other part.
I was like, wait, I don't know what to start with. So I'm just going to word vomit on you. Like, hey, yeah. Do you want to talk about grief forever with me, with everybody?
Yeah. It's so embedded into the tapestry of who we are now. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't do this with anybody else either. So yeah, thank you for asking me. And I'm super grateful that we have just a wonderful community who participates and shows up for us. And so thank you guys for just being here and listening and not just supporting us, but maybe even, exploring your own grief and what that can be in your life.
Yeah, because honestly, from the community, it's so much more than just support from you guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than that. So we appreciate you guys more than you can know.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, we're gonna explore your story a little bit. And lots of people know you and lots of people don't. Who are we going to be talking about? What is your grief about?
So we're going to be talking about my husband, Kenneth Spain.
Okay. And how did you guys meet? What started your journey together? Your love story?
So I met Ken 12 years ago. I met him when I was 21. And we were working at a restaurant together in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Super, super busy restaurant. And he was a chef. I was a server. I think I had pink hair and pigtails at the time. He was this just fucking goon, tatted up, fucking noisy motherfucker in the kitchen.
Big personality?
Big personality. Yeah. But he was and still to this day, people, if you ask them about him, they're he was the dude that you wanted to be around.
I've seen that a lot actually, on social media, because I never got to meet him, but I've seen people talk about him and remember him, and they literally describe him like that.
Yeah, everybody describes him.
Yeah,
like that. And if you knew him, you would get why that is. I don't know. It just makes sense. Yeah, so we were just friends at first. We didn't start dating until I was about 23. We were still working at the same restaurant, and we were young. I was 23. I think he was 29 at the time. And we were just like having a blast. Like, you know, we were in our 20s. We were partying. We were working, all of that stuff, going to concerts, you know, being adult children, you know.
Having fun.
Yeah, we were having fun. But when we met, not when we met, but when we like kind of like stepped into that realm of dating, I was in a place in my life where I didn't want to live in Minnesota anymore. And so I told him at the beginning, I was like, hey, we can do this, but I'm going to move to San Diego in a year.
Oh, shit.
And I don't plan, or like, I don't expect you to move with me, you know? And he was like, okay. And so when that time actually came around, he didn't come with me. I left. And it was one of the hardest things that I had done at that point in my life. And mind you, right, like I'm also not a person that is going to sugarcoat my relationship because somebody passed. Like, again, we're all humans. Like, there was a lot of drinking going on. There was a lot of like toxic stuff going on in that relationship. But I was so like head over heels in love with him.
Yeah.
But I got to this point where I loved him more than I loved myself. And I was like, I said I was going to San Diego and I have to do this for me. And I fully believed that if we were meant to be together, that our paths would cross again. And so I left. And I remember when I left, because my mom drove me across the country. And when I went to drive to her house, I'd left Ken's house. And as soon as I said bye and I got in the car, I cried the whole way to her house. And then like literally the whole entire way that we were driving across the country.
All the way to California.
I cried all the way to San Diego. And honestly, when I think about that time, I was here for 10 months the first time I came out. And we were doing like a long distance thing. I went home twice to visit, and then we met up in Denver for his birthday that year. And it was like its own form of grief because it was like when I was out here, like I liked my life. I had friends. I had a good job. I was in California, you know, like, fuck, I'm from the Midwest. Like, it's cold there. It's not for everybody. It's not for me.
I lived in the Midwest for a little bit, and my family's from there. I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, but I didn't ever really feel like I was really experiencing joy because every single night we talked on the phone, it was like there was this piece of me that was always missing. Like I wasn't truly happy or experiencing that because I wasn't with him. So I went home after 10 months because he didn't want to move out here yet. And so how that kind of happened is that my brother moved out here the last 6 months I was here, and my brother was super homesick. And so he was going home. He was going to drive across the country and move home. I was like sad because I missed Ken. And I was like, you know what? Like, I will go home. I'll go home with you. Like, so me and my brother drove across the country back to Minnesota. And I told Ken, you know, I will move back and we can get a place together and we'll see how things go. But I'm not staying in Minnesota. I'm not staying there. I said, I don't care if we move back to San Diego. I just want to go somewhere where there's not winter. And he was like, okay. And so I went home. I like rented a room from somebody like a mile away from his house. And then after about 3 months of being there, then we got a place together. And so I was home for 16 months. And I was counting down the days the entire time. I will tell you that.
I can't wait to leave.
I also cried when I left San Diego.
Aw. Wait, can we backtrack a little bit? Why San Diego? Why did you choose yes, California, but like why San Diego?
Okay.
Like why not LA or, you know, San Francisco? Who the fuck knows?
Let me offshoot side story.
Okay,
Yes.
side story. Side quest.
I was going to a CrossFit gym and there was competitions that you could do. And so I signed up for this CrossFit competition that was like a 28-day bikini body slim down San Diego challenge. And the prize was 2 tickets to San Diego and hotel. And I won. So I was like really into fitness in my early 20s. So I won. And I flew out here with my mom. We stayed downtown San Diego at the Hotel Indigo by Petco Park. And I was like, why the fuck don't I live here? Like, why do I live in Minnesota? And I had traveled a lot before that, but there was not like a place that I got to and I was like, I need to live here. But when I got here, which I think a lot of people have that story.
Yep, that was my story.
So I went home and I was like, I told everybody, I was like, I'm going to San Diego. And I don't know if like everybody even believed me at first. They're like,
yeah, sure.
Whatever. Like, you know, but then I fucking did it. Yeah.
I think we've established that you do have drive when you want something.
I do. Yeah. Good decisions or bad decisions. Yes. Yeah.
So what happened next?
So when I was home, like I said, I was home for 16 months. And honestly, that was probably my favorite time that I had spent with Ken in our relationship then, because we knew that we were moving. So we spent a shit ton of time with my family. So like we would both work the same like 5 days a week. We'd have the same 2 days off every week. And every weekend, or I think it's like a Sunday or Monday or something, but we would go stay at my mom's house. Like we would go there and we would spend the night. Like every fucking week. We would go to my aunts and my uncles. We'd hang out with my cousins. And Ken didn't really talk to his family besides his like full sister and then his half sister a little bit. But otherwise, he didn't talk to his family since high school. And at this point, he was 30 going on 31, I want to say, somewhere in there. And so during that time, like he very much became a part of our family. You know, like my mom was his mom. Like, so it was nice. It felt like, I don't know, the most normal our relationship had ever been. I don't know. It was like we were playing house, I guess. Like, you know, and you know, when you're young and you're like, you think that's what you want. And, you know, I don't know. But then it was like, it did like kind of happen for a little bit. And it felt good, and, you know, and so I look back and I cherish that time.
So how did you guys get out to San Diego then? Like, what made you want to leave that?
Because I fucking hate the cold weather.
Okay. So even though it was getting to be like nice and like a sense of normalcy, or like what we think normalcy should be, you're still like, fuck this weather. You're like, I'm not doing it for the weather.
Yeah. I didn't want to do it. And yeah, so we were leaving. And so, pardon me. When I had lived in San Diego before, I had met some people. And so there was an apartment that my friend lived in PB, and he was moving into the unit next to it because one opened up. So like a unit had opened up, and he was like, hey, this is open. And so we actually secured our place in PB before we left Minnesota.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was always the plan. But, so how did I get him on board to go to San Diego though?
Yeah.
Okay. Because also like backstory, right? He had lived in California before prior to us knowing each other. He lived in Temecula for 4 years, right? Of all places. And so I was trying to explain to him. I was like, San Diego and Temecula,
not comparable.
They're not the same. But he was like, I don't want to go back to I don't want to go back to California. Like, I already went out there. It didn't work out. I came back. And I'm like,
that's Riverside County, bro. This is San Diego County.
I'm like, this is different. And so actually we had come out here for his birthday when I was back there for the 16 months. We came and we stayed in PB. And And he fucking fell in love with it. He was like, what? This is way different.
Hell
I
yeah.
fucking love it here. You know? And so I was like, yeah, I had him on board. I was like, we're fucking going.
Nailed it.
Yeah, and it was fun too. It was when I was home, it was my 26th birthday. And so we went to Mexico and like Playa del Carmen. And it's probably one of my favorite memories of the two of us. It was on my birthday. And I like sea turtles. Like I have a thing with them. I have like a sea turtle on my...
You have a sea turtle tattoo.
Yeah, on the waves.
Wow. I never noticed that before. Okay.
Yeah.
Sea turtles.
I always wanted to swim with them. And so on my 26th birthday, we were down in Mexico. And it was like either the very end of migrating season or the beginning. So it's like maybe not. You're going to see them. And they told us that when we were like going out on the boat to like go snorkel and whatnot. And so we were out there and we had like done the whole thing and we were starting to like turn around to like go back to the boat. And I was like kind of bummed because I was like, man, I really wanted to see that. And so, you know, we're like got our faces in the water and he's behind me. And then all of a sudden I felt him like grab my leg. And as soon as I feel him grab my leg, there was this giant sea turtle like swimming up underneath me. And I just got like so fucking excited.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds so magical.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Whoa.
There's a big motherfucker.
Oh
but yeah, like I can just like, I still like, I remember that and like that excitement and yeah.
Oh,
It was cool.
that's amazing. So you guys had a beautiful vacation. You got to see kind of like the West Coast, but a little further down the border. And then you guys ended up in PB. And what was your life like?
Well, we had just visited PB. When we moved here, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, so the thing with that is, right, like, so when we moved here, so we drove across the country and we like stopped. We went to like to Denver and Vegas. Or no, we went to Denver. And then we were going to Lodi, California, because we went to San Francisco and then like drove all the way down. We got stuck in the Reno Tahoe National Forest up there. It's like, I don't know. It's the first time I've driven up there, but it's like mountains and there was a fucking snowstorm. And this is like one of those moments in our relationship that I was like not fucking happy because Ken didn't have his license. So I drove everywhere.
Oh.
Which was fine, right? But like sometimes he would drive, right? And I was fucking terrified because like on the little radio, it was like, you have to stop and get chains for your tires and don't this and all that. And I had never experienced that because in Minnesota, like it's pretty flat except for like way up north. And I don't go way up north when it's snowing for this reason, but there's not mountains. And I had like a little Hyundai Elantra and we had to stop and put chains on the tires and he refused to drive. And I was so terrified driving through the forest that whole entire time. We got stuck up there for so long.
Wow.
But
he was scared too.
He was scared too. He's like, what? You know? And so then it's like, that's one of those things that I look back on and it's like, I didn't need to be that angry about it. Like, you know? But I was really scared.
Yeah. That's definitely scary. Yeah.
But yeah, and so then we made our way down the coast and we came to San Diego and we were living in PB. So we were working in restaurants the whole entire time that we knew each other. He's a chef. I was serving, bartending. So we came back out here. I got rehired at where I had been at previously when I was here.
Nice.
And then he got hired at, it's not around anymore. It's called Whisk and Ladle in La Jolla. He was a chef there. So we were just working and living in San Diego and doing that thing. And that was in 2018 that we came back out here. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so you guys are established, you're working, you're doing your thing. And So did something change or like
COVID happened.
COVID happened?
2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So COVID happened and we had a lot of money and a lot of time, and we were hanging out with a lot of not great people. And so our like normal people partying turned very much not into normal people partying anymore. COVID happened, and I think like 2 months later, our fucking house was like trapped out.
That's a really quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy out here, though. I guess it was like the Wild West during COVID here. There was no cops out. There was nobody out. Like, it was like a giant playground for people who were like using and partying. It was insane. But I was like very much still trying to make it normal. Like, all of this stuff was happening, but I was still trying to make it very normal.
Did you keep your job during COVID?
No. We both lost our jobs on the same day when all the restaurants closed.
Okay.
Like, all the restaurants shut down for like 8 months. Mm-hmm. So during that 8 months when we lost our jobs, that's when all that happened. And we started doing other stuff and making money other ways. And so then by the time it was like restaurants were starting to open, I did actually I went to like one job interview and I didn't get it. And then I was like, I don't want to fucking work anymore because I had another source.
Hustle.
I had another hustle, another source of income. And at that point I was having fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why work a normal job when you can do things that seem more reliable or easy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, at that point we were partying and we were renting mansions. We had like 6 cars. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, we had fun. We had a lot of fun. We got married that year in 2020 because we had a shit ton of money. I was like, let's get fucking married. Like, so we got married in Ocean Beach at Santa Cruz Beach. And my whole entire family flew out for it during COVID.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, it was a little wild because we were a little wild, but everybody was there.
Yeah, you had your family together.
Sure did. It's almost like when you think about like all the fucked up shit that like parents would do in the 90s and like stuff that was like acceptable, and like you look back on that time and you're like, when people are like, oh, like you would go home when your parents didn't know where you were, nobody could track you, like the olden times, like shit that would never happen today. It very much felt like that. It was like a flashback to that, but like in the 2020, it was very strange. It was a very strange time.
Okay. So what kind of like led you to the point like where there were changes happening?
I mean, we didn't make changes, like choices, right?
So there were no changes.
We just kept going down that path, and then our life like just spiraled out of control. And so it was like, it very much went from like, right, how I had talked about when we were the part of our relationship where we were in Minnesota, and it was like that housemaking, or what term I used?
I don't know.
Homemaker. Or that type of vibe. Mm-hmm. Moving to California, like doing the whole thing, and then like literally like spiraling out of control. The money ran out eventually. Like, shit hit the fan, and then like we didn't have a place to live. We were staying in hotels for a while. That turned into like staying on people's couches. That turned into staying in a car. Car broke down. Car got towed. Living on the street.
Right.
Like,
that's the downward spiral. Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you go that direction for the most part. So it was very short-lived. It was, right, so that all that stuff kind of happened at COVID, so March of 2020. And then I ended up in jail in September 2022. So it was like a 2-year little
stint.
Little run.
Oh, so what was Ken doing? What happened to him?
So I had 3 cases and Ken had 1. So we were like co-defendants and we went.
So he got locked up too?
He got locked up for 3 weeks. Okay. So we got arrested on the same day. He got locked up for 3 weeks and then he got released. And I did not. I got 9 months because I had different charges than he did. And so he got put on probation. And so when I was in there, like we were not FaceTiming. We were video chatting, like through Securus, like that, right? Scheduled. We were doing video calls and stuff like that. But at that point, like I needed to get my life together. Like I was not going to get out of jail and like get off a paper. Like I was.
Yeah, it was serious now.
Yeah. Like I was serving the second half of my sentence in the community after that. So I was forced to do my time. And then I was escorted by police from jail to rehab in a cop car with an ankle bracelet on. Like, and then in rehab and outpatient and all of those things. Like, that's what had to happen. And if I didn't do that, then I would serve the rest of my time in jail. And that was not an option for me. And so about January, so I got locked up in September. About January, nobody could find Ken. Nobody knew where he was. I was talking to other people, and nobody had fucking seen him. I had people calling hospitals. I had people calling places. Couldn't find him. He pops back up in April, right before his birthday, because he wasn't checking in with probation. So probation gave him like 3 months. So he ended up in jail. So now we were both in jail at the same time. And we were like, we had somebody emailing back and forth for us. So I would like talk to somebody on the phone and then they would write the email of what I said to him, talk to him on the phone, go back and forth. So we were like communicating that way. It would take days to get the email. Like it was the longest conversation waiting for responses and stuff. But that's how we started talking then. And at that point it was like, okay, like we're going to get sober. We're going to get clean. Like we're going to do what we said we were going to do. Like, we need to fix this. Like, we can have the life that we want still. And so, as much as I knew that he was saying that, and I remember, like, processing this with the girl that I shared a cell with for, like, 6 months, I shared it so many times with her that I was like, I feel like he is going to get out of jail, and he is going to fucking die. And I felt it in like every being of my fucking soul because I knew that I was being forced to go to rehab, but he wasn't. Yeah. He was just going to get released back to the street. It wasn't required for him to go to rehab. And at that point, like I hadn't been talking to my family really since the wedding. He didn't talk to his family since high school. We didn't have a place. We didn't have nothing. We didn't have family. We didn't have real friends out here. Like we were not in a good predicament at that point. And I couldn't do anything to help him. Like I was going to be going to rehab. So I feel like I knew it. Like in my fucking gut, I felt that that was going to happen. And I would, she'd be like, don't put that energy in the air. Like, don't try to think about that. And I'm like, and I try not to, but I just like, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, you knew.
And so I got out June 12th, 2023, and then he got out June 25th. So it was like 2 weeks after me. And I was in a residential treatment facility, so I couldn't like go anywhere. I couldn't have passes, but you could go to doctor's appointments. So I made like an appointment at Quest to like get my blood drawn or something like that. And I was there for like 3 hours. And one of our like acquaintances drove him up there and he had like hung out with me there. And so it's like the whole situation's really shitty to fucking think about because not only was like that was the last time that I saw him, but like I also didn't see him for the 9 months before that because I was in fucking jail.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, there was like video chats and phone calls and whatever, but it's like it's just fucking shitty. Yeah, and so we hung out that day, and I didn't know if I was going to share this piece, but I will, because I'll side story off of it too. But we hooked up that day at the doctor's office. And at first I was like, what? No, like, and I'm like, well, whatever. It's like, fuck it, I guess let's go in the bathroom. And we did, and whatever, like, it was fun. And as like strange as that sounds, like I'm really glad that we did that, you know? Yeah. Like, but then 2 weeks, well, like 2.5 weeks later, then I found out that he passed away. When I was in rehab.
How did you find out?
So I believe it was his cousin. His cousin messaged me on Facebook. And like how I'd said was he didn't talk to anybody in his family.
Yeah, so you get a call from one of his family members and it's like, why?
Well, it wasn't a call, it was a message, but it said, hey, like, can you call me? It's about Ken. And I read that, and I mean, I can't, like, I feel like my whole, everything that I thought was going to happen the whole time that I was in jail, like, my nightmare, like, became a reality in a second. And it was like, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't go back. You can't change it. You can't, like, nothing. There's nothing. And, you know, something that I think about too is that the last time that I talked to him, because I talked to him after that, we were arguing on the phone because, you know, like, we were going to, like, get it together and we were going to get sober together and all of that. And then he didn't answer his phone for a couple days. And when he finally answered the phone, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, where have you been? You know? And he had OD'd and ended up in the hospital. And I got so angry with him and I yelled at him and I was like, I can't fucking keep doing this, you know? Like, I have to get clean. You know that. Like, this is not a fucking choice for me. And, I mean, I'm not saying that, like, my feelings are valid. I can't take that back, but I was fucking pissed and I was arguing with him. And then I told him I had to go, and I told him the last thing I said to him was, I will call you back, because I was fucking pissed. And then I never did. And then I found out like 2 days later. You know, and so I try to hold on to, like, not hold on or whatever, but like I think about, you know, the 2 weeks before that when we saw each other in person, you know, like that memory, and try not to think about like the last phone call.
Well, you guys are so much more than that moment too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whew. Yep.
Can I ask you about something?
Mm-hmm.
So I know eventually, like, this is something that comes up a lot for people who experience a loss, but do you think that you can share the story about how, I mean, you were in rehab when this happened, and when he passed, one of your guidance counselors took you on a walk on the beach? Was that it?
Are you talking about when I told you about what she said?
Yeah.
When it pissed me off?
Yeah. I want you to share that, because this is the kind of shit that people will say that's not helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't know what to do. And we were in a COVID lockdown at the rehab too.
Yeah.
So we were all locked. I was locked in a room with 4 other girls. How the fuck do you grieve the loss of your husband with 4 girls in that room?
Very not private, very not sacred. Just
Yeah. I did eventually end up getting my own room. It took some doing, but I did get approved and I got my own room. But before that happened, I had got one of the therapists like went to take me for a walk. And like she doesn't even know me at all, you know? I don't know. But she said, he's in a better place.
I fucking hate that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so glad that you're saying what you need to say for yourself so that you don't feel uncomfortable. And what I wanted to do was punch her in the face, but like, I wasn't going to do that.
Right.
And then also it's like, he's in a better place. Is he? Have you been there? Do you fucking know?
Did somebody tell you something that I don't know?
Can I get the address?
One of the things that I also don't really care for about that statement is it's because like you just don't know. Like even with like your own personal beliefs, unless you have like a really close relationship with somebody where you've discussed those things, it's not appropriate to push any kind of belief system on somebody who is grieving or has just lost somebody. And that's kind of what that implies. Is there something that you wish maybe she would have said instead, or something that you feel like you could say instead of something like that? Like if that's the word or if that's the phrase that comes to your mind when you want to comfort somebody, what can you say instead?
What was your favorite thing about that person?
Yeah.
So you like trigger a happy memory? Like, yes, that close to like losing somebody, you're immediately going to be sad after, but like.
Yeah, but the thing is like you're going to cry or you might feel that wave, but you get to talk about the person that you love.
Yeah. Or honestly, like just acknowledging how shitty you feel. Like, it's, you know, like, I don't know. And I know like saying like, I'm sorry is, I don't know, because people say that because they don't know what to say either. But I also feel like I'm not saying that they're not sorry, right? It does suck. But I also feel like that's kind of a segue sentence to be like, let's talk about something else, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe more or less just like acknowledging like what you're going through is probably going to be really difficult. And maybe like, I'm sorry that you know this pain now.
Yeah. I feel like that's a much better thing to say than I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm sorry that you have to feel this pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got the news and I'm sure there was a lot that happened in that time, but what was the point where you knew that something had changed, like for sure? Like obviously there's like, you know, that moment where we find out that our person is gone or that grief moment happens. But was there a point where you were like, okay, everything is changed forever. Like literally everything that I do has to be different now because my person isn't here?
I don't know if I can like pinpoint an exact point or time that happened for me, just because for me I disassociated really heavily for about 6 months, so time was very warped for me, but I guess when you bring that up, what I kind of think about would be the closest to that is that after this happened, my family was very much like, you know, my parents are divorced, but like my dad, my mom, my aunts, like all of them, they were like, come home. Like, why are you out there? Like, you know what I mean? Like at this point, like I was here by myself, you know, and I had made a bunch of not good choices. I just got out of jail. I was in rehab.
Going through the consequences.
And I lost my husband, and my family was just like, come home. And so maybe like that was the point. I guess I thought about that, right? And I was like, it's not that I don't think that they would have supported me. They would have supported me. Like, I get that. But nobody can grieve for you. And to me, it like solidified in my head that this was something that I was going to do alone. And yeah, it might help to be back there, but like, would it? Like, I'm not going to go home this like broken, failed person. Like, that's not why I came out here. And so I guess that was when I was like, nope. Like, because I felt like it was like giving up on everything that I thought I knew. I mean, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at that point, but I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I was going to do it alone. That's what I thought. And so, I mean, I just slowly started rebuilding. I mean, every single person that I have in my life today in San Diego, it's all people from the last 2 years. Like, everything has been from the ground up. Like,
The ones who didn't run when you were how you were and who you were and how you had to like refine and build your identity back.
right. Well, that. And then the other thing, I used to talk about this during that time or like shortly after, like I look at like the first 6 months after that happened as like the thick of it, for less better words, right? It was fucking exhausting because I feel like I was mentally fucking falling apart. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was also like trying to build relationships with brand new people, which is also like mentally exhausting. It was like all of these things. And then, I mean, the people that ended up being around me at that time, like, I'm so grateful for, because I was mentally in a fucked up place. Like, and the people who came into my life at that time, like, pretty much I'd say 98% of the people are still here. And so I have a lot of like gratitude for the people that I have in my life that held space for me during that time when I was just like walking around, not knowing what I was doing. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's like, I felt everything and nothing at the same time, but I was also completely separated from myself. That's what it felt like for me.
So at what point did you feel like you could, for using your description, like what point did you feel like maybe you came back into your body or stuff started feeling like, okay, the nothing and the something is blending again? I like to call that in my journey. I like to call it like when I started seeing color again. Because you know how they're, like with rough journeys, people are like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And there's like another metaphor that I like for that one. Like, you're the light, reflecting in the tunnel. But like, for me, there was no fucking light.
Mm-mm.
It was just darkness and gray. Mm-hmm. And so I call that time like when I started to see color again. So for you, it sounds like maybe when those things started not being as separate again.
I really like that. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry. Yeah. I've never heard that before, I don't know, when you think about that stuff and like, when did it happen? Why did it happen? I mean,
or was there any like moments that like kind of gave you not necessarily hope? Because I don't feel like or maybe some people feel like hope moments, but I know for me, I just started, I'd get like splashes of color again. Like, oh, okay, is this how I integrate my grief? Like how do I build this new world without my person? Because at first there's like that resistance, like you don't want to, and you're like, what the fuck is my life now? And I feel like part of that never goes away. Like I still think about that, but there's parts where like I do accept it. I accept that that's my reality. And I start seeing like little ways to integrate, like, okay, if this is going to have to be my fucking reality, like, how do I make it mine? How do I paint this instead of just moving through like a grayscale life?
So I think my way of how I would answer that is like when I started to see bits of color throughout my life is honestly the women that I had in my life.
Those people you were talking about who stuck around?
And like these little tiny pieces of like, it wasn't joy. I wasn't feeling that yet.
Right.
But I wasn't like completely fucking miserable out of my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was, but it was not what I was. It's really hard to fucking explain. But like just these little, I guess, moments with different women, you know, Roseanne was one of those women. I went to, I still go to Fit camp. Like I go to that place religiously, like for my mental health and everything. And it's fun. That was a huge thing. My relationship with her was like, that was big. My relationship with Charity.
Yeah. When
I met Charity.
And her daughter.
And Lily. They're my little family. We met at FRC at the rehab. I was in the hallway hyperventilating.
It's not funny, but
dead ass. So we were on COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
And I was in a room with 4 girls. And
I've been there. I went to that facility myself, so I know how it feels.
I was panicking, or I don't know what I was doing. I don't even know who I was, but I was in the hallway and I was hyperventilating, and she walked around the corner and I didn't know her besides like from morning meetings, you know, and she walked over to me and she put her arms around me and she just held me. And I didn't know her at all. And then I like tried to pull away a couple times and she didn't let me.
She didn't let you?
She held me until my breath slowed the fuck down. And I was like, this is my family.
Holy shit. Literally. Holy fucking moment.
I will never forget that. Yeah.
I love your guys' bond.
I do too. And I mean, there's more women. There's so many more people that held space for me. Like, it's like, it's a lot to think about, really. You know? I don't know. I think I talk a lot about how it makes people so uncomfortable all the time and nobody wants to talk about it. But then when I actually like really think about it, I'm like, but there's so many people who hold space for that. You just have to be around the right people.
Yeah,
I
definitely agree.
People. Yeah.
The people who don't run. The people who don't run away. They're not scared. They like come up to it instead of like backing away and just not facing it with you.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you're also one of those people, but we'll save that story for our chapter of the two of us together.
Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is you describe moments of knowing a lot. And I want you to share that with everybody because I feel like it is a universal experience that we have if we are in touch with ourselves or in touch with our grief. I feel like sometimes if we're not in touch with those aspects of ourselves, we'll chalk it up to coincidence or, oh, that was just random. So what is a moment of knowing?
I mean, a moment of knowing is like, I mean, kind of like how you had said before, like coincidences or signs or something like that is a simple way to put it. But when you can feel that person's energy there, like you can feel the shift in the fucking air, like, you know, it's happened to me multiple times. Two times that it happened, I was at the water and I was like putting his ashes in the water. One was the first time I did it. And it was wild. It was a Saturday and it was an OB. And it was when I had 18 months sober. And nobody was there. Nobody was on the beach on a Saturday.
That's so crazy.
In Ocean Beach where we got married. It was very strange. But as soon as I like put his ashes in the water, it started raining. Like, and like, I don't know, when I was walking to I had tried to bring his ashes before and I couldn't do it. I tried to walk there and I was like, nope, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so I didn't do it. And so then when I had tried to do it the second time, it was so weird. It was like, when I turned the corner to walk down the street to the beach, I thought I was going to instantly start crying. I was blaring Lana Del Rey on my headphones. I was like,
why Lana Del Rey?
It was Ken's favorite artist. And like, backtrack real quick. When Ken and I like first started dating when I was 23, one of my best friends at the time had committed suicide. And I was not in a good place and I was drinking through that. And I showed up at his house. It was around Christmas. And I was in like a Christmas onesie and I had a box.
Was it a sexy onesie or a comfy onesie?
Comfy onesie. Okay. Comfy onesie.
Just had to get the mental picture.
Yes. Comfy onesie. I think it was like one from Pink though, you know, so it's like fashionable.
Right.
But like comfy. And I had like a box of stuff to make margaritas and I was been crying and I showed up at his door and he's like, are you okay? And I was just like, no, I'm not okay. And we literally like, we made a margarita and we went and we laid down in his room and we were blaring Lana Del Rey. And I mean, I've been dating for like 3 weeks maybe. Mm-hmm. And I laid down in his bed with him and I just fucking bawled and he just held me. He held space. I think he was like the first person and I never thought about this. I'm pretty sure he was the first person in my life that held space for me when I was grieving.
And didn't make you feel like too much and just let you be and held you.
I've never thought about that. Yeah. So that's why Lana Del Rey.
That brings up another question. Do you think that's why you hold space for others now?
Because he held space for me? I mean, I feel like we become pieces of other people, even if we don't know where we get it from sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, maybe, because, like, if you ask me that, I don't know why I hold space for other people, because that's what I do. That's what I do. I don't like, you know, I don't know. I don't have a way to explain it.
Do you just think there's no other way? Because, I mean, if you think about it, some people don't do that for other people.
And for me, I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. I don't understand how do you not, you know, but yeah, very much so. Like, you know, maybe he taught me that. He also taught me how to drive a stick shift.
Nice. My dad taught me how to drive stick. My car is still a stick shift. Your first car was a stick shift, and that's one of the things we bonded over. We're like, oh, you can drive a stick shift? Yeah. Oh, your car's a stick shift too?
Cool.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to tell you about moments of knowing.
Oh, yeah. Moments of knowing. Fuck.
Right. Well, I wanted to share the little thing at the beach, right?
Yeah.
That happened.
With the rain.
Yeah. And so I was listening to Lana Del Rey, and I felt like, it's so weird to say what I'm about to say. I felt like he was inside of me.
I know what you mean.
Like, I turned the corner and I thought I was going to cry and I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then all of a sudden I had this like strength, and it was like, nope, this is what we're doing. And it wasn't like he was next to me or he was helping me or he was guiding me. He was inside of me.
Yeah.
And I remember sharing it with my mom, and I'm like, this is going to sound really weird, and I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, so that was, I think, my first like moment of knowing. But what I wanted to share with you about moments of knowing was that when we were talking about this like a week ago, and you had said, I know what you're talking about, but I don't have those because like your dad's energy is always present, right? And so this is not the right word, but like, I think that's cool, right? But it was like something that I don't understand, right? And I was like, I'm okay with having these moments of knowing, right? Not okay with it, but like, this is the reality of my life. I'd rather have them than not have them.
Yeah.
So when I did breath work last week, I cannot explain to you what happened. But what I found out was that like, he's always with me.
Oh my gosh.
And right after it happened, and I was trying to process a bit with everybody, and I was like, I don't know how to process this, you guys. Like, this is gonna take me a couple of days. I mean, this was 4 days ago.
Right.
It's Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I started crying, and I was like, I don't know if this is supposed to feel comforting. Like, I don't know how I feel about it, because it's accepting, I feel like it's like accepting my reality all over again. Like, instead of like, right, I was living in this reality where like occasionally I would feel his energy. And now it's like, I don't know, it's almost like it's like it just changes it. And then I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm like disassociating from it again. I'm not processing it again or something. I can't really explain it, but I was like, I feel like I should be comforted, but I just feel like I want to cry because I'm like, I'm not used to this. I don't know what this is yet. But then now I have to accept this.
Yeah. It's one of the doors of grief, of accepting new realities when they present themselves and integrating them into something that is either carryable, like you can bear that weight, or you just choose to not accept that reality anymore. I feel like one of the gifts that we get if we are processing our grief and carrying it because we want to carry it, then our realities change all the time with that. Our relationships constantly shift. It's one of my beliefs that our energy never goes anywhere.
No, I don't think it does either.
So him being with you constantly it's definitely something that you're going to have to build around. It's something that you received new information and now you have to build around it again.
Yeah. Yep. It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's a transition. It's It's welcomed, but I don't know how to navigate it yet. But I will.
It's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I can share some of my practices with you later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Help.
Help. I don't know how to do this. But that's kind of like what we have to do though, because we don't know how to navigate this, especially if you are trying to navigate it, then you're going to be faced with so much information all the time. That's why I just choose not to limit my beliefs when it comes to stuff like this, because dude, the things I've seen, my dad literally like being with me, I feel like now that I think about it more, I definitely have like bigger moments of knowing.
Yeah, where like the energy is way more present than...
Or just shit happens and you're like, yeah, thanks for showing out. Thanks for showing up and showing out. That was nice. Just like embodying our physical reality a little bit more so that we kind of see like what makes us feel maybe more comfortable. But like if you start feeling that energy with you all the time, then it's like, okay, this is even cooler.
Yeah.
That's really, he was inside of me.
And I quote, he was inside of me.
Oh my gosh. That was her moment of knowing he was inside of her. It's actually kind of beautiful. It checks out. I mean, you guys were in love, so.
Yeah.
Wow. So I know you were just describing one of your moments of knowing with going to the beach where you guys got married. Can you tell us about like a couple of the rituals that you do specifically to, or maybe you can tell us why you do certain rituals that you do for Ken, for you, for your bond. What do you do? For example, we don't have to get like too crazy into it, but anniversaries. How do you navigate those?
I guess I feel like it looks different every time so far. And I mean, it's still pretty early on, right? But I always end up at the ocean.
Yeah.
On our wedding anniversary, right? So we got married on our 5 years, like dating. And then when he passed away, it was about 7 weeks before it would have been our 3 years married or our 8 years together. So right after he passed, like that, what would have been our 8-year anniversary happened really soon after that.
Yeah.
And I got his name tattooed that day.
It says Kenneth Spain with a heartbeat and a heart. It's beautiful.
And I went to the beach. I mean, I always end up at the water. I lived in North County at the time and I didn't have a car, so I ended up at the closest beach to me. But now that I'm like
mobile,
now that I'm an adult again, I go to the beach that we got married at. Like, that's just my spot.
I love that you're able to now as well, though. Again, it's like divine timing, because you were sharing before that you would try. You'd be like, nope, today's not the day. I'm turning around.
Oh, it was hard for me to go back to San Diego because after we moved out of PB and we were all over the county, we were hotel hopping, staying at Airbnbs, all that. We lived everywhere all over San Diego. It was like a playground. And so when I was in North County, I remember the first time I came to San Diego and I like had a panic attack. I literally had to get like back in the Uber and leave. And that was just going into North Park. And like we didn't even like hang out that much. So it was a whole ass thing to get back into San Diego and then to actually get back into like OB, right? Because we lived in OB for a while too. I go to PB occasionally, but I kind of avoid it still. The first 2 times I went over there, I had a panic attack and had to leave like so many times. So it took a lot of fucking work for me to be able to go there. It was not a quick process.
Yeah, it sounds like there's also no timeline. Like, you shouldn't be expected to be able to do those things like in any amount of time. Like, it takes what it takes. It takes the time that it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, one of the things that we really want to talk about is through this whole process, what do you feel like is there even an upside to this? A lot of what you've shared is fucking painful.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like there's beautiful moments, but even in like your most recent, like very transcendental experience, like you're still like, what the fuck? It feels like my grief is just circling back around again and reliving itself. So is there an upside to grief, to your grief?
It's not a yes or no question for sure. I almost feel like some days there is, and some days there's not. It depends on what's going on that day. I don't know. Like, I'm a pretty positive person, but I also, you know, when I think about like exploring that, like I still get that like feeling in my stomach where like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to admit that. But also it's like, but there are these little things, and it's not to like diminish your pain or make your grief any less, right? Because we fucking hold on to our grief, like, you know? But I think about like the possibilities of if we changed our perspective on some things. And I say this lightly, I guess, because sometimes this pisses me off. I don't like when people say this to me. But, you know, sometimes I do have to tell myself, like, what would he want me to be doing right now? Like, he wouldn't want me to be miserable. Now, mind you, I don't want anybody else to fucking say that to me.
I don't think anybody has the right either.
Ever.
No.
You're not allowed to say that to me.
Yeah.
If I want to think it, I can think it. But that's another one.
Yeah, that's another one for a different day.
Yeah. But I think there is. I think there has to be. I think that it's just so hidden because we don't talk about grief as much as we should, and we don't explore it. I feel like there has to be. I don't know.
I think there does too.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
I think that's all the time that we have for
yes, ma'am.
Sharing. And we didn't even cover like half of what could be covered. And that just shows that it's so complex.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many facets. There's been so many experiences that we have had together and like conversations that we have that have shaped my perspectives about like how to speak to other people, how to support other people. And I feel like that's one of like the biggest things that I get to process with you. And I love it because
me too.
You said it earlier. Like that's when I asked you like, what would you say instead? Like then that counselor said, and you were like, well, I would do this way differently because like, that's who I am. It really is who you are. Like you support people. And it's one of those things, I think we have also said it to each other. We're like, I'm so grateful we're friends. I hate how we met, but it's really beautiful that we did.
The like, I love you, but I wish I never met you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you, but it sucks.
I love you, but it sucks that I have to know you.
Yeah. But really, I wouldn't want to be like sharing all the things that I do with anybody else.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing Ken with us.
Yes.
Because he is really important. And I love who he's shaped you into. And it's weird to think about because like I didn't know you before all this or even when you were with him, but I'm really glad that I know you now with what you've been through and the woman that you are and how you hold space for people. And I think that that's super important. And I think that that's what we're doing here too, by being able to share about the people who have, you said it, we become parts of the people that we've lost, or we're shaped out of our people in our circle anyways, but like
we like keep little pieces of them turn into us.
Yeah. I love that. Because I feel like, can I share one more thing?
Of course.
Super powerful thing that you did. So last year in November, I held space for an awesome group of women, and I asked people to bring something important to them. And oh God, I'm gonna cry. You brought one of the locks that was with you guys at your wedding. And you put it on the altar, and I had, I didn't know what it was or anything like that, but we finished, we concluded, and you came up to me afterwards and you showed it to me and you described like what it was, what it meant, and you fucking put it in my hand. And I still have it. It's on my altar for my loved ones, because I feel like, and I always try to speak like absolutely like raw with you, because I don't feel like I need to mask anything with you, but like I never get to know him. I only get to know him through you. And I love that he's like a part of my space, because you let him be, because you won't stop talking about him, and I don't ever want you to. Yeah. So thank you for just being you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So I think that it's time for us to say goodnight or goodbye.
Yes.
And
but the next chapter,
yes,
I will be interviewing Miss Erica here, and you guys will get to hear about her grief journey with her dad. So we hope that this resonated with some of you or moved you in a certain way, and
and if it did, then please contribute to the community that we're building, because this is totally for you guys, because as Story has shared a bunch, she did this because of people around her, and she was able to get to this point because of people around her. And so if we build a community like that, then I feel like we could do anything.
Yeah, as cheesy as it is, like, you don't do it alone. Even though at the beginning of this, I was like, in my head, I was going to do this alone. That's what I was doing. And don't get me wrong, you do grieve alone.
You do.
But you can do it with people standing next to you.
Yeah. There's a quote that goes, happiness shared is amplified and grief shared is divided.
Oh yeah, I think I think I've heard that once, but it's true.
My husband's sister shared that with me, and yeah, I was just like, yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. Like, we carry each other through stuff like this. So if you want to tag along and listen to our stories or other people's stories, then please don't forget to like and follow and
share with the community, because we are all in this together. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we love you.
Thank you so much. We love you.